My sister Tracy is the one who said to me, Toni, you know, when you make it, you can help us come on. So I always try to abide that. But the responsibility of it is so heavy for me. I feel like I can never live my life, and I never used to say it. I never used to say anything to anybody, but since we've been doing this show.
Toni can treat them people however the fuck she want to treat them people because they really like tried to share her spotlight. I don't like, they tried to forcefully make her share her stardom. Made her feel bad because she wanted to live out her dreams and they felt like they deserved to be there right with her. And they didn't. They didn't. Toni is the star.
Imagine being part of a family where your own sisters become your biggest rivals. That's exactly what Toni Braxton has been dealing with since the start of her career. As the most successful member of the Braxton family, her fame came with an enormous burden. She was expected to carry everyone along with her, no matter how heavy the weight got. Now, after years of holding it all in, Toni is finally opening up about how emotionally drained she feels and why she refuses to forgive her sisters, especially Trina, for continuing to push that same pressure onto her, even after they reached a point where they could have shared the load. You can grow up under the same roof and still turn out completely different, and that's perfectly normal. But in the Braxton family, those differences run much deeper. It's become painfully clear that the sisters just don't get along, and no one has felt the strain of that complicated family dynamic more than Toni Braxton herself.
Did you have to parent them?
Sometimes, yeah.
Okay.
When I was about 13 or 14, my mom, she had a really bad accident. She fell. And her back was really messed up, so she was in the hospital a long time. And so I was a surrogate parent for a moment.
Where was Dad?
Working and making a living with 6 kids.
So what would it look like for you if it were different? If you didn't have that responsibility and if they weren't leaning on you, what would your life look like? What would you be doing?
I would have soared higher.
You think so?
Absolutely.
She's the oldest of the Braxton sisters and easily one of the most successful women in R&B history. With over 70 million albums sold and 7 Grammy Awards under her belt, Toni Braxton has solidified her place among the all-time greats. Her journey began in the early days with her sisters as part of the Braxtons. But everything changed when music legends L.A. Reid and Kenneth "Babyface" Edmonds heard her sing. They were blown away by her voice and immediately offered her a solo deal. In 1993, Toni released her debut album, Toni Braxton, which became a massive hit, shooting straight to #1 on the Billboard 200 and selling over 10 million copies worldwide. Her follow-up album, Secrets, pushed her success even higher, thanks to the record-breaking single Unbreak My Heart, which sold another 10 million copies and remains one of the best-selling singles of all time. Over the years, Toni has released 9 studio albums, with her most recent dropping in 2020, all met with critical and commercial success. But with fame came new pressures. As the Braxton family's breakout star, everyone began looking to Toni for financial support. She stepped up and took care of her family, but over time, her sisters became too reliant on her success. According to Toni, the situation wasn't always easy, but one person who never hesitated to help or show appreciation was her youngest sister, Tamar.
And Daddy's divorced, and a divorced mom pretty much got nothing. I'm not going to leave my mom by herself. So I'm going to make sure my mother's taken care of. None of my siblings have helped me take care of my mother to make sure she was okay, except for Tamar.
And just to clear things up, all of this happened before Vince came into the picture. So yeah, put some respect on Tamar's name and her coins. What really got under Toni's skin, though, was how her sisters, Trina and Tawanda, were always taking more than they were willing to give back. Sure, Trina had every right to be paid for her years of singing backup for Toni. She's got bills like everyone else. And honestly, if Toni was willing to pay outsiders for their work, then it's fair that her sister expected compensation too. But even after Trina started getting paid and landing her own gigs, she'd still complain about being broke, claiming she wasn't financially stable enough to contribute. And while everyone painted Toni as the rich and successful sister, the truth was far from glamorous. Like many artists, she found herself trapped in a shady record deal. Despite her albums generating over $170 million for her label, Toni saw only a tiny fraction of that money, earning less than 35 cents per album. She eventually sued her label, accusing them of forcing her into what she called a slave contract. Incredibly, after all that success, Toni's royalty checks sometimes came in at just $2,000, money she'd then have to hand back to the label to cover travel, studio costs, and production expenses. Her finances became so strained that she filed for bankruptcy not once, but twice. During one of those cases, She was even accused of transferring $53,000 to her ex-husband, Kerry Lewis, to avoid paying creditors. In the middle of all that chaos, Toni tried to go public about the unfair contracts and sought sympathy from fans, even appearing on the Oprah Winfrey Show to share her story. But what she didn't realize was that Oprah was close friends with executives at LaFace Records. Since Toni's story would have made them look bad, Oprah flipped the script and harshly criticized her for her spending habits. The interview ended up being painfully awkward and humiliating, with Oprah showing little sympathy for what Toni was going through.
She was so freaking mean to me. I was in shock.
Do you take responsibility for the situation that you're in right now?
100%.
100%.
100%. I couldn't believe it because I loved her so much. I admired her and looked up to her. And she pretty much reprimanded me.
I read that you were upset about stories that your overspending caused this.
She says to me, I hear you have Gucci flatware. I'm Oprah Winfrey and I don't have Gucci flatware.
First of all, I didn't know Gucci made silverware.
You ain't got Gucci flatware because you didn't want to buy it. It's not because you couldn't afford it. What do you mean? And immediately, she made me feel this big.
The second time Toni Braxton filed for bankruptcy, it wasn't because of bad spending or poor management. It was because her health took a serious turn. She was diagnosed with lupus and developed a heart condition that forced her to cancel her Las Vegas residency. The cancellations cost her millions, and as if that wasn't enough, the IRS came after her with a lien claiming she owed over $340,000 in back taxes. Then the California Franchise Tax Board hit her with another lien for about $110,000. That meant Toni was suddenly on the hook for nearly $500,000 in taxes, all while trying to afford the expensive medical treatments she needed to stay alive. It's honestly incredible that Toni managed to bounce back after going bankrupt twice. Many fans believe her financial struggles weren't just bad luck. They were the result of her trying to take care of everyone around her while being cheated by her record label. But at this point for Toni, it's not even about the money anymore. She's exhausted from feeling unappreciated by the very family she's supported for decades. And she's done with the constant drama and toxic environment that always seems to follow them. Before Tracy's passing, the Braxton sisters promised they'd make an effort to get along, but things have only gotten worse. Tamar skipped Tawanda's wedding, and none of the sisters showed up to support Tamar and their mom at the premiere of their new cooking show. When Toni tried to wish Tamar a happy birthday, she found out she'd been blocked and had to publicly call her out. At this point, fans are starting to agree with Toni's perspective. She loves her family, but she feels like they've become a weight she can't keep carrying. It's a hard truth that a lot of people relate to. Sometimes, love isn't enough to fix what's broken. Sadly, jealousy and resentment seem to run deep in the Braxton family, even from their mother.so. What do you think? Could Toni Braxton have achieved even greater success if her family hadn't been holding her back? Let's talk about it in the comments. And if you want to know why Tawanda has always had an issue with Tamar, don't miss the next video, because when it comes to the Braxtons, the drama never ends.